Felt a little inspired to do this video in the conversations that we've been having about growth on this channel, and the conversations that I've been having with you guys about growth and really monitoring my growth with the progression of my locks. I thought it would be really important just to kind of share with you guys just my thoughts that I've been having over the last couple of days with a couple of things that's been going on in my home. So this is really a very personal video, and I'm hoping that I have the courage to post it after I finish taping it. But you guys know, as I've mentioned, that my husband and I were separated about 5 years ago, and we got divorced, and then we reconciled about 2 years ago. And in the process of everything, even just our separation, I was really going through a really tough time, and also trying to establish myself and reconfirm for myself the type of woman that I was. There was a lot of drama going on between us, and I felt like we had grown apart, and there was a lot of things that I just really felt like I couldn't deal with. We've been talking, him and I, a lot about just the separation and his feelings about it, because he did not want to break up. We've been talking about that. He did not want to get divorced. He didn't want to leave the home. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to fight for his family. He wanted to work it out, and I just couldn't look past a lot of the things that were going on. But I also am very observant and a very conscious person, so I paid a lot of attention to the things that he used to kind of complain about, and things that we used to butt heads about a lot. And I made a conscious effort when we broke up, because we had been together for so long, and I really had never truly been on my own until we separated. I made a conscious effort to really grow as a person and to define and kind of figure out the type of woman that I was, and really, learn from the separation. I didn't realize how much he did and how much of a contributor he was in our home until he left. And I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about just actually helping me with a lot of things. Financial, of course, was one of them, but also, the cooking, the cleaning, the taking care of my daughter, things that I felt like my girlfriends used to kind of say, oh, you have it so good. But because of the relationship I saw my dad have with my mom, I didn't really look at it that way. I just thought that he was doing what he was supposed to do as a man, because that's what my dad did. So when we broke up, I really had to learn how to do a lot of things that I didn't have to necessarily do on my own. Not that I didn't know how to do them, but I didn't have to consistently do certain things every day, day in and day out, managing a home or taking care of a home by myself. So I learned a lot, and I really feel like I grew as a woman, and also started to kind of pinpoint the things that were important to me and the kind of woman that I wanted to be. So in that, I actually, eventually we both moved on. He started dating, I started dating. I started seeing someone who really put into perspective a lot of things for me. And so that goes into what I want to talk to you guys about being aware, about being conscious, and about kind of evaluating your experiences and using your experiences to grow from. Everything that we go through is not just meant to it's not just going through them. You're not having these experiences. You're not having challenges at work. You're not having challenges in your relationship. You're not having challenges with your friends just for the sake of just for the sake of them happening. I honestly believe, and I've always believed, that the things that we go through are meant to and serve the purpose of helping us grow as people, helping us decide and define who we want to be as people, and then helping us to really make those edits and make those changes. If you don't accept the things that go on around you and decide that you want to be a better person from them, you're really missing out on the entire purpose of life. Because the person that I was dating, and again, this is getting very personal, the person that I was dating, we both were in relationships prior. We had a conversation about a lot of things that we had going on. We had a conversation about who we wanted to be as people. I felt like I held up my end of the bargain. He did not. And I won't go into all the details of it, but I will say that maybe about 8 months that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I decided, like, this is not going to work out for me. During the relationship and while things were going on, I always kind of thought about my husband and how he handled certain situations. But my pride, which is something that I've learned to work on, my pride stopped me from cutting everything off, because I didn't want to be, I wanted to learn how to stay put. And again, this is a learning experience for me. I don't think that at all times the things that you learn to do are necessarily supposed to kind of cover every situation of your life. Yes, I was supposed to learn how to deal with certain things, but I wasn't supposed to learn them for the sake of dealing with them or dealing with them with him. I knew and I know now that I was only learning how to kind of be that person and to embrace certain aspects of myself so that I could be the person that I am right now in general, but so that my husband could benefit from them, so that we can get back into a place where now I am absolutely 100% sure about the woman that I am, the woman that I want to be. Anyway, so we went through certain things, and I'm talking about the relationship that I was in. We were connection. If I feel like you aren't in it with me, I'm gone. That's just it. My cutoff game is extremely legit. Okay? When I'm ready to walk away, I walk away, and that's it. Hold on, I got something on fire. Okay, I'm sorry. So here's my thing. You don't get to grow without doing the work. You don't get to grow without paying attention to taking accountability for where you've made your mistakes and doing the work. It's something that I had to learn. The only reason why my husband and I are able to kind of be in the place that we are right now is because we both were 100% accountable for what we did in the situation to cause the breakup, number one, and to cause the separation for so long, number two. And then we made those edits and we made those changes. If he had came back and he didn't see that I was a different person, and not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, if he didn't come back and see that I made those edits as a woman, then I know and I hope that he would have said, like, nah, like I didn't want to break up. I didn't want to get divorced. I did want you in my life, but you're not the person that I want you to be. Everybody in a relationship, in a situation, they need something from it. It's like your employer. You go to work every day. Your employer expects that you perform and you do a good job, and that's how you get your check every 2 weeks. And then as an employee, you expect that when you go to work and you show up and you do your job, that you get paid every 2 weeks. It's an equal exchange. Relationships are no different. You got to hold up your end of the bargain. You got to do the work. You got to be responsible for your growth. You got to be accountable for your next level, your next step. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and I'm so glad that I'm in a space right now where I'm conscious and I'm able to kind of put things into perspective and make sense of the experiences that I've been having in my life. I'm so glad that I'm in that place, because all it's doing is just reconfirming that my next level, my next move across all different aspects of my life is going to be so legit. So legit, because I'm doing the work. I'm accountable for it. I'm accountable for the fact that he made certain mistakes because I wasn't fully present in my marriage. I wasn't fully present. And if I'm honest with myself, I can say that, yes, people mess up. Yes, men make mistakes. Yes, they do certain things. Yes, they cheat sometimes. Yes, they mess up. But sometimes you have to be accountable for the role that you play in it as well. And I'm not giving a pass to any man that makes a mistake. Clearly I'm not, because he made a mistake and I walked away. I walked out. You do that. But on the other end, on the way out, you can't just always turn back and just say, well, you know, this is what you always were planning on doing, or this is what you wanted. Like, you have to say, okay, how can I be a better person? It doesn't always mean that you get to go back into an old situation. It doesn't always mean that you get to kind of get a fresh start. We are very fortunate, and I'm conscious of that. We are very fortunate for the ability to get a second chance with one another and to come back in a space where anything could have happened. I could have had kids. He could have had kids. We could have both been in a situation coming back in where the door wouldn't have been easy to open, or it wouldn't have been like a complete fresh start. I'm so fortunate that I ended up with someone who didn't uphold his end of the bargain, who didn't exemplify the standards that I would have wanted for the person that I wanted to be with. And I'm so glad that I could look back and find those standards and find those characteristics in my husband as he was before. But then not only that, I could look at him and see the person he had become, making those edits and making those changes and being accountable, and say like, damn, like I really want to be with him. Like I would be back with him. I would get back with him. I would be willing to overlook all the mistakes, overlook all the pain and the hurt, and really completely have a fresh start. I don't hold any grudges for things that he's done, because I see not only is he apologetic about what happened, but I see the growth that he's made, and he sees the growth that I've made in the time that we haven't been together. We didn't come back like, oh, our situations didn't work out, like here we go, we should be here. No, it took a lot of time. It took time for us to have conversations after separating from our situations. It took a lot of conversations about what had happened. It took conversations about who we are now. It took conversations about what our expectations are for ourselves and for each other. And I'm grateful for that. You don't get to grow without doing the work. You don't get to grow without, number one, planting a seed. You don't get to grow without watering it. You don't get to grow without diligently taking care of and grooming what you desire to see bloom. Like, you don't get that. And I'm in a space right now because I know we've been having dialogues, or we've been having contact with people who are, I'm trying not to like say too much, but you know, in all honesty, we've been having some conflict and some barriers and some energy that's trying to prevent us from being happy, from being good, from being where we are right now. And it's just like, it's just amazing to me that when you are trying to grow, how much people and things and situations will try to block you from that. And that just reconfirms where you need to be and reconfirms the energy you have to put into being consistent. We are in such a good place right now because we've been accountable, and you do not get to grow without being accountable. You don't get to win without being accountable. I remember I had a job. I think I mentioned to you guys that I'm a digital marketer. I had a job at a national retailer, an online retailer, and I was working there and had an opportunity to get a promotion. I wanted the promotion. Well, not even I had the opportunity. There was a job that was posted that I wanted, and I put my hat in for the job. My boss at the time didn't think that I was ready to grow. I was completely upset. And I decided to leave the company. You know, I found a new job and I left. In hindsight, I look back because I went to my next job and I didn't put into effect or put into motion some of the feedback that she had given me. I wouldn't say that she was 100% right, but she was right. And we had a conversation since then. She's like now one of my biggest supporters and actually one of my mentors. We had a conversation. She said she could have done it differently. But what I love about the conversation we had is that not only did she, when she said she could have done things differently with me, I had already been accountable for what I believed was her thought process when she said those things. I had already went back into my head and said, okay, well, why did she think that I wasn't ready to grow? And I did that because I went to my next job. I didn't put some of those things into motion, but then I went into the next job and I wasn't 100% accountable for my role. There was a lot going on in my personal life, so I wasn't fully present, but I ended up getting laid off. And that layoff was like the best thing that could have happened to me. The company was struggling financially, so it wasn't all about my performance, but I knew at the end of the day, and this is me self-reflecting, I knew at the end of the day that I could have done a better job. So I was accountable for that. And I promised myself, while I was on unemployment, while I was collecting that little $400 that wasn't doing nothing a week, while I was collecting that, I was accountable for the fact that I should have done more, I could have done more, and I wasn't the person that when they put all the names on the table and said, how can we cut corners right now? I was one of the names that they said, okay, we're willing to lose her. I never in my position after that wanted to be someone that somebody was willing to lose. I never wanted that. So I bust my behind from that point on to make sure that I will always be accountable. I will always be present. I will always manage myself. I will always manage up. I will always come in every single day and give my 100% because that's the type of person that I wanted to be. I never wanted to have an opportunity to grow and someone say, no, I don't think you're ready. Never wanted for that to happen. And since then, my trajectory has been amazing. I'm proud of myself. It hasn't always been very easy, but I'm proud of myself. And I feel like the separation from my husband, moving on into a different relationship, being accountable for the things that I did wrong there, and being accountable at work and my personal life, and then across all things in my spiritual life. Everything is a process, but being accountable is how you grow. You cannot just put it off on somebody else. You can't just say, oh, it's your fault. You can't say, well, your landlord tells you that it's time to go. You can't say, well, you always wanted to collect more rent. Like, no, sometimes people are willing to take $1,100 from you because you're consistent versus taking $1,500 from someone else because it's more money. You have to be accountable. And I'm realizing that so much more in my life, and it's putting me in a place where I'm just like, I'm quicker to say it wasn't you, it was me. I'm quicker to say that because I think I benefit more from that. Even if you don't ever have to hear it, because I never have to tell anybody what they did wrong. When I sat down with my mentor and we had the conversation about the role and her not promoting me or thinking that I was ready, she took some accountability. But what I love for that is that I wasn't in a place where I really needed her to say that. I was glad that she said it, because sometimes when people give you the ability to say, it wasn't all you, it feels good. But when you don't require that feels better. When you've done the work and you've thought about it on your own and you've thought about, okay, this is how I'm going to think about it. This is what I could have done better. This is how I'm going to move forward. Then when somebody tells you, okay, well, this is what I should have done, it's just like, wow, like I appreciate that, but I didn't even need it. I didn't even need it because I've already done the work on my own. Sometimes you're going to have to grow without having somebody next to you to tell you, well, here to water you. Sometimes you're going to have to water yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to groom yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to take a step back and look at yourself in the mirror and say, listen, this is who I am. This is who I desire to be. I'm not going to go around in circles around it. I'm not going to pretend like I'm perfect. I'm not going to pretend like I got it all together. I'm not going to pretend like I don't make mistakes. I'm going to be accountable for that, because then that takes away the shame of doing the work that you have to do to grow. And I know I sound like I'm angry right now, and I am a little bit, because there's a couple of, like I said, there's energy that is coming into my relationship right now to stop or prevent me and my husband from getting to the next level. But what I love about that energy is that we've done the work. So it can't phase us. It can't phase us because we've done the work. We've done the work. So we can be honest with each other about where we were and where we are and where we're going, and how much outside influences will never break us ever again. And I love that. I love that. That's what life is supposed to be. That's what growth is. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video here because I'm just going to keep on going, because there's so much that I could say about that. And maybe at some point I could be a little bit more open about where this is all coming from. I really don't feel like it's necessary. I think that I've been very clear about what I'm trying to say, and in the spirit of my locks and this monitoring my growth and being aware and really starting these vines with my own two hands. I just felt like I had to come and just give y'all just the realness right now about what growth is. Growth is accountability. Growth is doing the work on your own. Growth is not looking at somebody. I mentioned that I started these locks on my own. I've done this on my own. And sometimes you're going to have to do the work on your own. You can't look to somebody and expect them to always be there to help you out. You can't do that. You can't do it. So that's all I had to say. That's all I had to say. I hope you guys are accountable. I hope you guys are growing in every aspect of your life, and you're being accountable for that growth so that you can own it, so that you can know and define and confirm the person that you are, and really know the person that you used to be. I really had to check myself and really take note of who I thought I was. I wasn't. I thought I was grown. I thought I was responsible. I thought I was loyal. I thought I was patient. I thought I was a lot of things, and I had to really be honest. And I said, okay, you want to be that, but just like check the records real quick. Look at yourself in the mirror, and I know me better than anybody else does. And when I go over certain things that I've done and certain things that I've said and my behaviors over certain at moments across every aspect of my life, not just relationships, I'm talking about in my career, I'm talking about in my love life, I'm talking about with my finances, I haven't always been the person I said that I wanted to be. And so that meant that I didn't always get what I wanted to get. And now I'm checking myself, and I feel the growth, and I know it's not easy. I'm experiencing so many growing pains, but I appreciate that. I love that. I love where I am right now. I love the growing pains because I know that it's just preparing me for my next move. That's all this is. I'm getting groomed for my next move. I'm being watered so that I can grow. So blessings to you guys. I hope everyone is absolutely amazing. I hope you all are good, and just wanted to drop this on you, and hope that it really helps someone really consider where they are. My divorce was the best thing that ever happened to me. My husband really hates that, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the best thing that happened to our relationship, and I'm not encouraging anyone to get divorced. Like, I'm not doing that at all. And the whole divorce and the marriage is a whole nother conversation. Maybe I'll come back and talk about that, because a part of the reason why we did get divorced is because of the way that I looked at marriage, which is something that I had to be aware of and really be honest with myself about. The way I looked at marriage then and the way I look at marriage now is really different. It's really kind of messed up how I kind of like thought of it, but I don't think that I'm unique in that. I'm just aware of it. So I'm going to go ahead and go, and blessings to you all, and I hope everyone is well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. Oh, and my hair is growing, which is another like amazing thing that I'm just like, see, we growing.